The following is a presentation of Retro Sports Network, home of the champions in the past, present, and or future. Hello, I'm Uncle Ron, and today I'm going to show you how I install a new season from Strat-o-Matic Basketball and how I would set up to play a replay for Strat-o-Matic Basketball. I know one of the most common questions that gets asked is, how do I install the season that I just bought? Because for the other three sports, not named baseball, it is not an easy process. And so we're going to do just that. So if you're quite ready, let's show you what we got here. Okay, so you see here, we have the setup. And so I'm going to uncheck some things here. The game is already on the computer. I don't want to install that. When you get the game the first time, this is what it defaults to. The game itself, the shortcuts, the desktop shortcut, and the start menu shortcut, and the latest season. We're going to uncheck all those. They're already on my computer. So for just a season or a league, uncheck the basketball, uncheck the shortcuts, uncheck the latest season. Already on there. We're going to go to the 1950s because I bought 1959-60, but you can do this with any season. So if you want to install, let's say, an ABA season or any season, you check on the one that you want to install, and then you would click on next. Considering that's not what I'm going to do, I don't want to install it, we uncheck it. So we go to 1950s, and there's only one season. So 1959-60. So again, you have to go into your downloads or wherever you store them, find the setup file, as you can see here for the basketball game. In my case, Strat-o-Matic Basketball 2024B. Find the season that you want to that you purchased and install it from there. So we're going to install 1959-60. It has a folder right there. It says it's got 3 megabytes. They're not that big. We hit install, and then we hit finish. And so we're going to run Strat-o-Matic Basketball. And I'm going to pause this because I'm going to put in the, well, we'll show you in a second. Okay. So here we have all the seasons that I have here, and you can see from the top, I have 1958, 1959-60 selected. Now, it's going to ask me for the code. And I'm not showing you the code that you get from Strat-o-Matic when you purchase a season, but it's just easy. It's already in the game. So let's say we're going to look at Philadelphia because, personally, it's Wilt Chamberlain's card is what you want to see. So click on a team, in this case, the Warriors, and it's going to ask you to authorize the machine. And so we're going to pause. I'm going to do that, and then you'll see it after. Just to show you that it was, you haven't missed anything, just putting the allowable activations there. So it's all set and raring to go. We are golden here. So, the card you want to see, Wilt Chamberlain, right? So, brand new. This was their new season, by the way, 59-60. Let's start with that. So, let's start with Wilt Chamberlain's card. His rookie year, full season. His outside column there on the left. Man, he's good on a 6 outside. He technically, now in Strat Basketball, you are rated regardless of whether the rule was in effect for 3-pointers. And I'll show you why once I set up the rules here. So on a 2 to 12 roll, he would actually make the 3. So he actually is a 6 on an outside shot. He goes to the line on a 3 and a 5. And on a 12, it's a 1 to 15. Penetrate, he's not going to. He's never really going to be in case to do that. Inside shot, which is where most of his shots are going to come, it's actually not good on a 7. He has a 5 and a 6 is good. He is fouled on a 4 and an 8. A 10 is 2 and a foul. And a 12 is a 2 and a foul. And it's good on a 2 or 3 if Chamberlain is open. On a fast break, which you do an awful lot of in this era, he is fouled on a 3, fouled on a 7, 2 and a foul on a 10, and 11 is good, and 12 is good on a 1. Defensively, if he's playing on the outside, his opponent is good on a 2 to 5 or 11. If you try to penetrate on the stilt, it's good on a 2 to 7 or a 10. Inside, he didn't give it anything up. That is all good. And he blocks it on a 7, 8, and a 10. Same with a fast break. But we'll show you how we get to that in a moment. Passing, if you've never seen a passing card before, it is a roll of 1 to 20 that happens behind the scenes. For Chamberlain, 1 is an automatic turnover. 2 is an open possession shot. And 3 to 20 is a possession shot. On the fast break, don't want him to pass on the fast break. Just not happening. Defense, he steals on a 21 to 23. And if you flip over the fast action card and it'll say opponent defense, let's say 27. 24 to 45, he's going to pass to going to allow a pass to a good shooter. 46 to 49, it's possession shot for the person that's shooting over. And he forces the turnover on a 50 or 51. So that's what Chamberlain's rookie card looks like. That's pretty impressive. All right, before we get to any more cards, let me show you how I set up a season to play. I go to League, right? Oh, Options. I go to Options, and I click on League. And then the League options should there. All right, Game options. There's quite a few. I do detailed shot grid. Okay, and I'll show you why. We'll set up an exhibition game and we'll play a few minutes. So I set up a detailed shot grid. I save the game files. You got a 17 gigabyte, 1,000 terabyte hard drive here. Save everything. Display what? I show no action. You can do only final action, some action, or all action. If you like the animation, show as much action as you want. I treat all my strat games as if they are pure cards and dice on the table. And so I don't want to see any action. I want to read the text and all that. Okay. Other options. Show card image? Yes. I don't do the pictures. Show player picture. I uncheck that. I uncheck auto close card image. I uncheck shooting animation and rebounding animation. It's actually quite smooth if you like it, so don't be afraid to use it. It's not something I use. I show board game info. Again, for me, I'm playing a cards and dice game and using Strat as pretty much the helper. So I want to see that board game information. I'll make sure you've seen that. Yep. Improved interface. Yep, that's the modern interface. I use the white scoreboard numbers. The default are red. It makes it easier for me to see. Alternate scaling, I think it fits on my screen, but if everything doesn't fit, you can use it. My sound is off. I always save a box score. I always do expanded box score and play-by-play account. We save everything. It will do a game story and a box score. I do minimal play-by-play. Regular play-by-play is good for if you like that sort of thing. And maximum is very good if you don't have the card image. But really, if you're going to be buying a Strat-o-Matic product, you really should have the card image. It just makes everything work so much better. Rules. Okay. So, injuries, no injuries, use injuries, current game only. I don't do injuries. I think the computer does a very good job in controlling who should be in the game and who doesn't. And so I take a page out of Dave Gardner's book. I don't use injuries. Fatigue, no fatigue, static fatigue, dynamic fatigue. They will tell you to use dynamic fatigue. It will, behind the scenes, as players go from a 1 to a 5, 5 being exhausted, reduce their shooting percentage and all that. I go with none. I decide when I want to pull and when I don't. And I generally look to see how many minutes a game a player plays and go around that and what they do for fouls and so on and so forth. But again, I treat this as a pure card and dice game, which there is no AI. I run the show, and so I decide when they want to do that and when they don't. Home court, neutral, I always leave it just checked. Computer manager shot selection, stock or draft. This is a stock league. I will use stock league mode. Other rules. Emphasize individual defense. Now, if you're familiar with the football game or played the basketball game, you know that one of the drivers of the game is a black die. And a blank on a black die means that the result in the basketball game is coming off the shooter's card. If you roll and you get the D, it comes off the team's defensive card. I'll show you one of those in a minute. If you roll an X, it will roll off the individual player's card, just as I showed you with Chamberlain, where he was good, just absolutely dominant on the inside. The main flaw with Strat-o-Matic basketball is you're going to get too many offensive fouls. So I always do emphasize individual defense. I think it's a more realistic game. It makes those players matter more, and I'll show you why. There's just too high of a chance of an offensive foul if it makes it not quite a 50-50 system. But if you're reading off the team defense, that's the only way you can draw an offensive foul, and the chances inside are way too high. I use board game cards. I use board game rebounding. Do not use auto three-pointers. I leave that unchecked. Always allow three-pointers outside. For this, there were no three-pointers. So you know that's not a problem, so we're not going to check that. Press at coach's option. Yes. If you are behind by 10 points or more, it will give you the option, if you're losing, to press. And that should be your option. What it will do, if you check that, is give the opponents a higher chance of getting a fast break by breaking the press, or B, forcing a turnover and giving you the best chance to get back into the game. Fast break at coach's option. I check yes. And when I get into a game situation, I'm going to set both teams, regardless of what year I'm playing, to fast break. You don't have to do it. There are certain things that I do that kind of triggers a fast break for me to try to get the ebbs and flow of a game going well. But always put it at your option. And if you don't want to do it, if you don't have the numbers or the ball in the right player's hands, then don't do it. Put back at coach's option. Yes. Again, you should control when your team shoots. And if you put it back, if you have the option to put back, if it's someone who can't shoot, I always try to shoot anyway. But in Strat, the clock resets. You get a fresh 24 or 14. So even if they don't shoot, they will set up the pass. Emphasize switch shot differences. Not sure if that's new or not. If the defender switches on the shot, you're automatically open and you can take any shot on the board. That seems to happen enough for me. Allow more control in the last 2 minutes. Not quite sure what that is. I would check that. Allow some three-pointers in the fast break. Not in this era, so we're not going to do that because the three-pointer wasn't there. Rest. No auto rest, partial auto rest, or full auto rest. I go no auto rest, I think. I'm not quite sure what that means in the grand scheme of things. I know that if that is now unchecked, you can actually do 4 shooters from outside. The default for Strat is 2 shooters that will be inside and 3 from outside, unless it's on no auto rest. I'm going to put it back to full auto rest, or I'm going to have it on none, and we'll see how that goes. Rule set. You can do any number of things. We can play ABA rules. which has a three-pointer. Now, last year for the ABA, no one fouls out. The default is for the era 54-55 to 65-66, which is shot clocks and a foul shot on every defensive foul. And whatever the rule sets are, so you can mix and match pretty much any era of the NBA that you want. So that's how I would set up this league. You do what you want, but that's how I do it. Events, we don't really change any of those. Miscellaneous, that's fine. Okay, now, options I have for the program, not going to change any of these. And no sounds. That's not what I was thinking. All right, let's set up. Let me show you a team defensive card here. Double click on the team name. Here is their normal defense. Now you see on the penetration and the inside, the P and the I, and that on why I go for more individual defense. Because if you roll a 9, a D9, that's an offensive foul. And it doesn't matter if it's Wilt Chamberlain or me. An 11 is the same thing. If you're inside against Philadelphia on a normal, it's an offensive foul on a 9 or an 11. On the fast break, it's on a 10. You cannot commit an offensive foul on an outside shot or a three-point shot. And I know that really, really blue column for the three-pointer is hard to read. But no offensive fouls. In Super Advanced, there's 3 defensive settings. Normal, close, same thing for the offensive fouls. That double asterisk there on a 7. Inside man's block rating applicable against other positions. Inside man's block rating not applicable against own man. Shot missed. And that's how a SAG works. Okay, so that's Philly's defensive card. Let's set up a little game here. Unscheduled. Now, I always do human coaches. I show no action. My text delay is pretty short. We don't do animation, don't do shooting. Dice delay is about a second. I do a detailed shot grid. There is no sound. My play-by-play font is Tahoma and the size is 16 because I like to be able to read. We do minimal play-by-play, and it's the options that I showed you. We show the card image. I close them myself. This, that, and the other thing. So that's everything that I showed you with the league. I don't know where to get pictures. So we're going to set up Boston and Philadelphia. Bill Russell, Wilt Chamberlain. And again, options here. We showed you pretty much everything here. Save the game files. All right, so this is new this year. It shows you if you got an E there, you're playing. If you got an I, you're not playing. I'm not going to change any of these. So it's Bill Russell, Bob Cousy, Tom Heinsohn, Frank Ramsey, Bill Sharman, Sam Jones. It's the entire Hall of Fame. Gene Connolly, who also was a baseball player. Casey Jones, John Richter, Jim Lascudif, Gene Gorala, and Maurice King. Now, if you want to change someone, let's say Jim Lascudif, you don't want to play. Click on it. He only played 28 games. So you click on it. Double click on it, and it turns to an I, and he's out. And then you let the computer pick the instructions so it knows when to put him in and what not, if you were to play as the computer. But since I coach both teams, doesn't matter. Okay, so that's the roster for Boston, and that's a lot smaller than it was. For Philadelphia, save deal, Wilt Chamberlain, Tom Gola, Paul Arizin, Guy Rogers, Woody Salisbury, Eddie Johnson, Joe Grabowski, Vern Hanton, Ernie Beck, Joe Rooklick, and Guy Sparrow. And those 2 are ineligible. So here we go, the select lineup. Now, one of the things, so you can see here Their S column is stamina, and everyone's going to be at a 1. The F's the number of fouls they have against them. And the I is whether they're outside or inside. So Bob Cousy, Frank Ramsey, and Sam Jones are going to be shooting from the outside column, unless we direct them otherwise. Tommy Heinsohn and Bill Russell for the Celtics, the Bruins, will be shooting inside. Their defenders, well, we'll get to that in a second. The positions. So you want to make sure everyone has a number here. So Bill Sharman is a 2 and a 1, so he can play both the shooting guard and the point guard. Gene Connolly is a 4 and a 5, so he can play power forward and center. Richter is also a 4 and a 5, so he can play power forward and center. And Laskudov is the only 3 on the bench. He can play both the forward positions. So everyone has, and Casey Jones is a 1 and a 2. So the Celtics have people that can cover everything. Now, that last column there, you see in the red, Cousy, Ramsey, and Jones, it's a normal defense. On the computer, you can determine how people are going to be defended. So right now, they're all normal. Heinsohn, Salisbury will be playing inside, and Chamberlain's job is to block Bill Russell. Okay. Both teams are set up for a fast break offense. We switch teams. Philadelphia now in the red, Boston in the black. Rogers, Gola, and Arizin all outside. Salisbury and Chamberlain inside. All right, for the bench for Philadelphia, you really don't need to worry about a center because Chamberlain would play most of the game. So Johnson is a 3 and a 4, so he can play both the forward positions. Grabowski is a 4 and a 5. So the Warriors are only going to dress 9 here. Hatton and Beck can play the guards. So we're all set for that. I see both teams are set up for the fast break, which is what I want. Then I go and hit this suggest button. And what it does is that the computer will give you what you should be setting for defenders and where players should play. So you do it for both teams. I'll do it for Philadelphia first. And it switches Rogers and Arizin on who they defend. We go to Boston. Hit the same button, and you can see that Guy Rogers is going to be left open. Bill Russell and Bob Cousy, God bless them both, are going to be double teaming Wilt Chamberlain. Okay, that's the best way to do it. As long as you're fair for both teams, it's going to work out just fine. And it's one less thing I have to worry about. I don't need to worry about how teams go with that every time that we change a player. I do the suggest for both teams. It just keeps it even. Click on continue. And we go for the jump here. So here's my screen. I don't think you can change any of that. We have the jump. The players are ready. Here's a tip. Boston has it in a half court. Cousy, opponent 45, going to pass to... Okay. So Gola is his defender. Now he can pass to anybody with 1 star. Now look, the only one that doesn't have a star is Bill Russell. Frank Ramsey can shoot. Tom Heinsohn can shoot. And Sam Jones can shoot. I always go to the person with the highest number of stars. So I'll move the mouse over to power forward, and Cousy will make the pass to Heinsohn. Position shot. So Heinsohn. Okay, this is why I go with the detailed shot grid. Heinsohn, if we were playing with a three-pointer, which I could because I'm playing both teams, would shoot 4% of his shots from three-point land. He would shoot an outside shot 18% of the time. He would penetrate 6% of the time. Because he's playing inside, it defaults to an inside shot. And he's just outside the paint here. So he's going to take the inside shot. That's all it's offered. So we roll the dice. We rolled a blank on that black, which again, blank is the shooter column, D would be defense, and X would be the defender. Now look at Salisbury. That B in the defender, if I rolled an X there, that would be in a block shot. It's anything but a block. Defense, since it's an inside shot, Philly not that great inside. They're giving up baskets on a 2, a 3, a 5, a 10, and a 12. On a 6, it would be good on an outside shot. At 8, it would be good on a 1 to 20 roll. 4, Heinsohn's fouled by Salisbury. 7, It's going to be a block because Chamberlain will intimidate the crap out of him. But 9 and 11, as I showed you earlier, would be an offensive foul on Heinzen. Heinzen rolled a blank 5. There's nothing there. Rebound. Rebound goes to Chamberlain. Now, we're going to do a fast break here because that's what they would have done in the era. On the break, Rogers to Ayers and back to Rogers. Guy Rogers has a fast break shot. And it's no good. Rolled an 8. Again, I believe 3 are blank. I want to say when you if on the default is defense, there's 2 defenses and 1 defender. But I think when we switch it, I think it's 2 defenders and 1 defense. So Rogers tried the break over Sam Jones. Couldn't get it. He was open. And the rebound will go to Bill Russell. And no, we will run the half-court offense here. Center has it. Now Russell. Salisbury, instead of Chamberlain, will guard Russell. So because it's a switch, Russell is open for the shot. Now, 1% three-pointers, not doing it. Outside, 5%. Normally, if I was doing a replay, I would take the outside shot. We're just going to go inside. Big Russ rolls a 6, which is a blank. Shot would have been good on a 2, mostly, a 12. A 6 is a blank, so nothing there. Rebound, controlled by Chamberlain. Again, we're not going to fast break here. Rogers, an outside shot. Now, he's open. And again, I can take a three-pointer if I want. I can hear the howls. We won't. Normally, what I would do on an open shot is I take the outside shot. And it's no good. He rolled a 10. Now, the reason why I do that, I mean, look, Bob Cousy is supposed to be defending him. He's not going to. That would be, if I rolled an X on that black die, they're all good. The shot is good. Defensively, as a team, the Celtics are incredible outside. No foul shots, no open. It's only good on a 2 or a 5 and maybe on a 12. But Rogers, because I took the outside shot and it was open, it would have been good on a 5 or a 6. That's what that O means. I rolled a 10. It's not good. Rebound goes to Russell. Again, not going to break here. Hines into Russell. It's a possession shot. Again, Russell inside. We roll a D12. So we're reading off the Warriors defensive card. And Russell over Chamberlain slams it home. 2-0 Boston. Now Chamberlain, opponent defense 26. Chamberlain's going to have to pass. Russell's forced the pass on the opponent defense 26. So again, go to anybody with a star. So I can't go to Rogers and I can't go to Tom Gola. I can go to Salisbury or I can go to Arizin. I go to the higher starred player. Paul Arizin, the small forward. Arizin takes the shot. I can go, now this is where the grid is. He would take a 9% three-pointer, 22% from the outside, or penetrate on the baseline at 32%. That's his most common shot. That's what I'm going to do. Over Sam Jones. Now, you see it was on Arizin's card in a 4, but I landed on an O. So it's only good if it's an open shot, not an X. So it's going to be a rebound for Bill Russell. And now I will fast break. You look over there, Russell's got 3 rebounds in the first minute. Cousy to Russell. A dazzler. So Russell scores. So bing, bang, boom. All right, I didn't shut the three-pointer here. So Guy Rogers is going to take an open 3. Sorry, missed it. Rebound, Russell. Again on the break. Cousy to Jones. Another dazzler. And it's 6-0 Boston. They are that good. All right, we didn't really want to play a game here. Let's show you Bob Cousy's card. So on that 1-20 roll, that it happens behind the scene on a pass. 1 is a steal. He makes a bad pass. 2 to 19 are automatic baskets. That's how good he is. 715 assists in 75 games. It's almost 10 a game. 20 is an open possession shot. On the fast break, 1 to 5 ain't good. Turns it over on a 1. Left forward would be the small forward. 2 would be the center. So Russell turns it over. 3 or 4, it's a bad pass. It's stolen. But it's an automatic basket on a 6 to a 20. That's pretty good. Now, up here where it says rest, you see Kuzi's height, 6'1", weight, 175, rest. That's 6 minutes in a game. Wait, 25.88 divided by 75. Maybe 6 minutes and a half. Yep. So it's 6 minutes and a half. He averages 34 and a half minutes a game, thanks to that wonderful calculation. So when you see rest, means he would sit out 6 minutes. I usually break the game down into 3-minute segments. And what I've done recently is first basket, first on open shot. I call a timeout because timeouts are plentiful in the game, and then make my subs just to give you a good idea. So that's Kuzi's card. We're going to exit here because, again, I'm not here to play the game. But that's how I set it up, and that's why I do the shot grid. It gives me a good idea of who should be shooting and where they should be shooting from. So Salisbury is going to take the inside shot, and it's blocked by Heinzen and controlled by Frank Ramsey. We're going to go a fast break. We'll continue here for the play. Kuzi to Ramsey. It's a fast break shot. The pass wasn't an automatic. It is an open shot over Gola, and it's no good. Rebound controlled by Chamberlain. Not going to fast break. And now we will set up the exit. Rogers, you want to see Chamberlain shoot. That's why you're here. Position shot. Chamberlain inside over double teamed. Yeah, like that's going to stop him. All right, so we'll exit without save. Yep, and that's how that is that. All right, anything else I want to show you? As far as the schedule is concerned, let's go league. So, Wilt Chamberlain's first game, by the way, was against the Knicks at the Garden on Saturday, October 24th, 1959. Batch change. So, hold on. If I want to set some teams to manual and other teams to hold, you can do that. If you just want to play, let's say, all of Wilt Chamberlain's games, you can set let's say some manual, others autoplay. Click on that. Click on Philadelphia, and you're all set. Everyone else will automatically play except for when you play Philadelphia, for instance. Just that easy. Just that easy. Pick a team, and you're all set. Oh, it's also Oscar Roberts. No, it's not. I thought that was his rookie year. Guess it was 60-61. The Lakers, by the way, are still in Minneapolis. So no Jerry West, but there is Elgin Baylor. So last year they're in Minneapolis. And again, he sits only for 2 minutes and a half. And he is a good outside shooter. Oh my word. So it's the Celtics, the Cincinnati Royals, and they went 19-56. Celtics won the championship. They went 59-16. They only played 75 games. Detroit Pistons and Bailey Howell, who my college library is not named after, but that's what it was. Wow. Gene Chu is on that team. Not a lot of household names here. The Lakers, I guess George Mikan's retired. Elgin Baylor is on that team. Hot Rod Hundley. Some good players. Frank Selvey. The Knicks have Richie Guerin, Willie Knowles. Not that Jim Palmer. The Warriors, Paul Arizin, Wilt Chamberlain. Those are Hall of Famers. St. Louis, they are the Hawks. They eventually would move to Atlanta. That Ferrari is not the same one that created the car company. Bob Pettit is their all-star player. He averaged over 20 points a game. Good outside shooter. Good inside shooter. In fact, he's going to get 2 and a foul on a 6. And last but not least, the Syracuse Nationals, who would later become the Philadelphia 76ers. Dick Barnett, wow, he's on that team. Hal Greer, who will become a legend when they moved to Philadelphia. Red Kerr, who you know was an announcer for the Chicago Bulls for 1,000 years. Dolph Schayes. So lots of Hall of Fame potential here. Just a good, fun year to do. So we'll do Wilt's opening game at some point. So that's how I prep a season. Let me show you how you can change. You can import team nicknames, or you can just update a team. So let's say I want to make them the Nationals. Oh, and it gives you the fast break style. How often they do it, what division they're in, what their court image is if you so want to do it. This is where you type in Nationals. I'm not going to do it, but that's where you would do it. Is right there. Hopefully, that gets your appetite whet, and I'm telling you, this Strat Basketball is a fantastic game. There's lots of good basketball games. Action PC is very good too, but this is the one I enjoy the most. All right, thank you so much for watching. I'm Ron Juckett, and we'll talk to you the next time.